Do you feel that? Can you
I
hear
do.
the music?
I'm getting amped up.
Are you like you need a Red Bull?
Yes, the monsters.
Is this better than a Red Bull?
I feel like it is.
Nailed it. All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and shout out to Sanjin Boychuk for writing that incredible opening for us. And this week we have Court, aka Patch Trash Girl, and this is her first time ever on a podcast.
Hello.
Hello. We were just talking. I'm taking your cherry, but like in a good way.
Yes.
That's not weird, is it? That's not weird.
Nope.
No,
Not at all.
It's not at all weird. I really should watch how I talk. Who's that? Who's that? Your boyfriend?
Yes.
Hi.
Dick Frost says hi.
Nice.
He says hi back.
Nice. So yeah. What's going on?
Just everyday life things.
Nice.
It's a fun thing. Nobody really realizes that I have a life outside of the oil field because I've built up this persona, so people don't realize like I have the family.
Do you have kids too?
I have a stepdaughter.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. Look at that. See, that's why we do the podcast, right? Because, so many people like watch our videos and shit, right? And they don't know the person behind the videos. All they're doing is seeing 30-second clips, right?
Yeah.
And they know nothing about us. So like it's kind of like a deep dive into the person behind the persona, right? And a lot of people on TikTok, they come across as douchebags. But they're not. They're just being funny, and they're making fun of the persona, right? They're making fun of the whatchamacallit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was like excited because I've been trying to get more into who I am as a person versus just being the TikTok Patch Trash Girl. I was like, you know what? People don't tend to realize I actually have a whole life behind the scenes of work. Like my job is my job. It's not my entire lifestyle. So it's kind of awesome that this is going to open that up a little bit.
Yeah, and like that's just it, right? Like so many people get into the social media game, and you can call it a game, I guess. They get into the content creation and they think like, hey, this is cool, this is fun. But they don't realize how exhausting it is. They don't realize how much it invades your privacy sometimes, even though you've kind of done it to yourself a little bit, you know what I mean? But like they don't realize everything that goes on behind that when they're trying to get into it, right? And they dive in, and then it's like, whoa, this is a lot.
Yeah, it kind of took off on me. I was just doing it. I was just making the TikToks, making the videos, and some of the stuff I guess people found relatable and like, hey, this is really funny, and started following. And then it just gradually kept growing and growing. And I'm still really small on the level of TikTok, but it's to a point where, people have their basic assumptions of me, or they think that, like, they think they know my job, or they think they know what I am doing. And it's just getting a little chaotic. I was like, man, nobody knows me. Nobody knows my story. Nobody knows where I've come from. They don't even have the nerve to ask me anything. Like if you had found out, I don't actually chase rigs. I work near them, but I don't chase them. They're not my thing. So I just thought it was really funny that's people think I chase rigs.
Yeah, you're actually part of fracking, which you come in after the rig, right?
Yeah, so I do water transfer, and so I work directly with the frac crew because we supply the water for frac. But I don't know how the assumption got out there that I do so many other things. And water transfer also gets misconstrued for water hauling. I don't drive big trucks with water in it.
And water transfer, they're slightly smarter than water haulers. Slightly.
Ever so slightly. Sometimes I question myself.
When you started popping into my FYP, I was like, all right, this is funny, right? I didn't follow you at first, right? Because there's so many people that they're just fly-by-nighters. They make a couple videos, they do good, but then they leave. They can't handle it, right? So they leave. And then I kept seeing you pop up, and then I kept watching, and then you stayed, right? There's some staying power. So like, okay, cool, follow, right? And then I watched a lot of your stuff. I went back and I watched once I followed, and like I didn't need to ask what you did because, like, you know, whether you know or realize it or not, like, there's sometimes the logo is tiny in the background,
Yep.
and or you know, you can kind of tell a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then you come into your live, and then you know you watch the comment section, right?
Yeah.
I love watching the comment section. You see in the comment section, oh yeah, I transfer water, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool, you know, and
Yeah.
so I don't even need to ask, right? And it's just
The
like,
other assumption was that I'm a medic because all of my videos are sitting in my truck. And that was when I came up with the hashtag not a medic because I am not a medic. I
yep.
get slightly offended that people just assume that that's all I do. So,
Well, yeah, and it shouldn't be this way, but a lot of women, they, you know, in the patch are you know, they see someone. A lot of people see women in the patch sitting in the truck, and they're like, oh, just a medic, right?
yeah.
And you know, man, there's a lot of women in the oil field that do a lot more than just medic, right? And you know, hey, but we love our medics too. There's nothing wrong with the medics. Hey, if you're a medic, we love you. We need you. You're a necessary evil, much like the safety person. Don't tell them I said that.
I don't put the hate on for any other person out there because we, at the end of the day, are all necessary. Otherwise, we wouldn't be hired to do those jobs.
Yep.
So I say, even though you might be bottom line, you know, you're not working as hard as the next person, you're still out there. You're still there for a reason. So I never put any hate on towards medics. Like I have friends that were medics. I've made
Yeah.
friends with Firewatch, safety, like anybody out there, and genuinely nice people. So I was like, why go out of your way to hate on somebody? And that's I was I expect the same, really. Like
Absolutely. I make fun of everybody in the oil field, right?
Yes.
Like I go after everyone, including myself. I'm just a swamper, right, on a back truck. I go after everyone, right? I'm not making fun of them. I'm just trying to give us all a laugh, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I see a medic and I'm like, okay, what can I do that will make the medic chuckle? What can I do that'll make, you know, the safety person chuckle? What can I do that'll make water transfer chuckle? What can I do that'll make a fracker chuckle, right? And it
Yeah.
turns out there's not much that fracker won't laugh at. You know, they're just their IQs. You know, it's just a joke, guys. I love you all. Yeah. So you know, I just joke around with everyone. I do have a lot of fun with the safety person though. I go at me and safety girl Tanya are always
I've
back and
seen
forth.
those. They're
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, we've been going back and forth for like a year or so now, and like it's a thing.
And it's funny because now that I follow both of you guys on my For You page on TikTok, it backs to backs them. So it's hilarious because I was scrolling and then I'm like, oh, and then I popped up next and I was like, there's the response.
Yep. What are how many followers are you at now on TikTok?
12.2K.
12.2K. Nice.
Yep.
So when did you join?
Well, technically I started my TikTok I think at the beginning of COVID. But I originally lived in the Okanagan, so I didn't really have the base that I have now. I started really picking up traction on my TikTok this time last year. So I was out in Fox Creek and I had nothing to do. So I just ended up making a whole bunch of TikToks and people just started liking them and my following just grew up from there in the last year.
Good for you. No, hey, it only took a year to get to 12K and that's huge. You know what I mean? Like for me on my main account, I think I was going at it for close to a year before I even hit 10K. So like, you know, but my backup, my the one I used mostly, it you know, that grew quick because I was already making content. People already knew I was there. So like linked the two accounts together and then, you know, they met up for a while. They were like right around the same numbers. And then one day my 2.0 just went right. And I just stuck with that. Once in a while I'll post over on my main, but it's not really my main anymore. And I keep it, you know, because like that's where this whole journey started for me was over there. And I have like a soft spot for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I recently just changed over to the PTG part of it because I was like, I'm getting some traction here. I probably shouldn't have like my whole name and like everything associated with that. So I came up with Patch Trash Girl, and then somebody just started calling me PTG when I hop in their lives, and I just became PTG, and people see me all over. They're like, "Oh, it's Patch." Like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I had my name on mine too. Like that was my main account, was my name for like the longest time. And then when I started getting bigger, when I blew up one day, I started getting random friend requests from strangers on Facebook. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I got pictures of my kids over here. Not, no, stop that. So I changed it. Right. And, my boss and I had already started the Dick Frost thing. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Dick
Yeah.
Frost. Why not? Why not? And then it just kind of stuck. Right. And then everyone's like, fucking love that name. And I'm like, yeah, so do
Yeah.
I.
It's hilarious when I say something and your name is so universally known that you can go up to anybody and they know who you're talking about. So I love that. It's just well branded.
It and it's funny that you call it a brand, because I didn't look at it as a brand for like a long time, right? It wasn't until someone said, "Well, the Dick Frost brand." I'm like, "Brand? What do you mean?" And then they explained it, and I was like, "Huh." And then I thought about it, and I took it and I ran with it. Merch, the podcast came eventually. Instagram, Facebook, other apps. You know what I mean? And it didn't just stop at TikTok. It grew on Instagram. It grew on Facebook. It grew on whatever else you want to fuck. I don't know. Whatever else there is, it grew over there. And it's been a ride. And have you been noticed on site a lot yet?
I have. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
actually posted a story on Instagram yesterday of my truck sitting on lease and somebody messaged and was like, "I saw you rolling around there." And I was like, "Oh yeah, want to see me in my actual work gear, not just TikTok wear." So, and I think it's funny because yeah, a lot of people message me and they're like, "Oh, I saw you on site today," or "I saw you driving by the," and I was like, "Oh, no way." Kind of laughing now because I got the new truck. My truck is getting more recognized than I am. So I was like, that might need its own TikTok because that'll blow up.
There are people that do that.
Yes.
I actually saw a TikTok someone had sent to me the other day, and it's like adding dated lifted trucks guy on my resume, so my boss knows that I know how to work with idiots and babysit.
I love it.
It was
It's
it
so
was really
good.
funny. It was really funny actually, and I was like, how can I do something like that? But I don't want to attack those people because they follow me a lot. I don't want to get beat up.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of hate for saying that I'm leaving my truck stock. But I'm like, if you see the places that I put it, you really think that a big lifted truck with super wide wheels and all of this stuff is really gonna last? Try driving across the rig mats on that. That's not gonna happen. My big lifted truck will just be sitting there. What happened?
Oh,
You're
there
back?
you are. You're back.
Yay.
You're back.
Short break.
We don't. Yeah. I don't usually anymore, I should say, have too many like technical difficulties, but it happens. It happens. It's like whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So we were talking, and like I've never had a job in the oil field where I get to go home every night.
Yes.
What is that like?
It's a luxury.
You get to make oil field money and then be home for dinner.
Yeah, every night. Very rarely do we get out of town jobs. And so I worked for a different water company prior. Obviously, a lot of people know that I made the change. And that one I was away all the time, at least for 24 days. I'd be back for 6 to 8 days and then shipped right back out somewhere else. And I did that all last summer and made really good money. But I was like, you know what? I'm at a point where I want to be at home most of the time. So I found this company here and I'm like, this was the one that I wanted because they are local. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make that patch money, but I'm going to sleep in the comfort of my own bed.
And you get LOA to be home.
Sup every day. Yes.
Man, I'm jealous. I'm peanut butter and jelly.
I'm spoiled.
No kidding. How long have you been in the oil field for?
Just over a year. It's about a
Over
year and a
a
half now.
year? Wow. Okay. I've been in for 12 years now. and I've never had a job where I get to be like, babe, I'll see you tonight, you know? And that's crazy. No, good for you. I'm not
No,
upset
it's
about it. Like, that's good for you.
yeah, it was definitely a really good change up. Because when I first started in the oil fields, I started with it wasn't even really oil field work. It was line locating. So that one I actually spent a lot of nights in camp, and those were kind of like more my first experiences in camp. And they were only for short little stints, you know, a night here, a couple nights there, whatever. Um, but getting to experience all the different kinds of camps, I was like, oh, the Jack and Jill bathroom setup thing as a female when you're sharing with male, not ideal. So I went from there to doing hydraulic torquing, which everybody says sounds like twerking when I say it. I used to build factories, and that one was nice because again, it was more local work for me. I was really green, and they didn't really want to send me away somewhere because I was accident prone. There's a sticker on my hard hat that tells a story.
Ooh,
So
what's it say? You got your hard hat on you?
it's a peace sign with the word fingers on it, and the top half of the finger is missing. I'm not missing my finger, but I did pinch my finger between a wrench and a nut that was pressured and it smacked, and I lost a small chunk of my fingers. So don't do that, folks.
You know what they say, right? You know what they say. You're not oil field until you've lost at least a little piece of your finger.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and the manager.
I'm missing half my knuckle right here. It's a big scar, and then I punctured something right through that scar from this side, and it came out this side. Like, this was 10 years later. It went through.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, same finger. Crazy.
Yeah, my manager came in the day after it happened, and he was like, "I know what you did wrong." And I was like, "There's a lot of things I probably did wrong. What'd I do?" He's like, "You know where they say don't put your fingers where you put your well, you don't have one." And so I was like, "I don't know where not to put my fingers."
Exactly. I just posted a video about that like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Never stick your fingers where you wouldn't stick your dick.
Yeah.
Right? And like it. Hey, there's a lot of places a lot of people would stick their dick though. Right?
It's so true.
It's true. It's true. Oh man, that's like, so. How long did it take for you to get like that skin back? Did it come back, or are you still missing, or what?
It came back. It's a little like squishy, like it feels like there's a decent chunk missing out of there. But all in all, it healed pretty well. I lost the 2 fingernails completely. They just decided to leave the building. So I think 3.5 months until I could actually like touch it again without it hurting. Like there was a point the bruising lasted forever. But so there was no stitches required and no breaks.
I was supposed to get stitches for this one. But okay, I didn't want to wait that long, so I left. It was a long wait. This one that went through it, I had to go to the hospital. It was in Fox Creek. There was no wait. Don't know if you've ever been to the hospital in Fox Creek. It's a nice experience. Been there a couple of times now. Great experience. Shout out to the hospital in Fox Creek. But if you actually want shit done, don't go to Fox Creek Hospital. Right? So I squeezed mine because it wouldn't close, and I was squeezing it for a few days, and I was getting all the pus out of there, and one day it stopped being pus and started being more blood. So like, okay, leave that alone. And then it healed the next day. Healed. It was great.
That is absolutely lovely. I learned how to wear the impact gloves though. Those are basically the only thing that was saving my fingers at that point. I was like, okay, we learned some value. But apparently I didn't, because I pinched my finger in a clamp yesterday and got a nice blood blister.
Oh, gotta love that.
Yeah.
I can't wear the impact gloves when I work on the vac truck, right? It's always wet and always dirty.
Yeah.
And you know, we need something that's in the winter, something that's warm and waterproof.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you don't always get that.
No, gloves are really hard to find that are actually practical. Like we need the impact gloves, but we also need the ones that are the inside that are like that plastic liner. So you have grip to move the hoses, especially when they're wet or cold, filled with snow, whatever. Like you got to be able to move them. So for the summertime, I kind of just say, screw it. I'll just use my fingers and hands and do what I got to do. But for winter, it's really hard to find those nice gloves that you need.
Absolutely. So, You've been in the oil field for a year, just over a year. How you liking it so far, and what's it like as a woman in the oil field? Like you don't. I don't know how to word that. What's it like to be a woman in the oil field? I don't know how old you are, but like you're new, so and you know, is it obvious that you're sort of new? I don't know.
Because when I very first got into water, I deep dove into it. I was like, I'm learning everything that I can as quickly as I possibly can, as best as I can. So I did with my last company about 5 months. I've been with this company for almost 4 months now. And so far, nobody understands that I'm still relatively green. Like, I haven't been doing this for years and years, but when I get told to do something, I'm like, okay, well, I'll try my best and huff my way over there. And they often either assume that I'm Superwoman and that I can lift anything, or that I am absolutely useless and just take things from me. So either way, I'm like, you know what? There are some things that I can manhandle, and there's other things that are beyond my capabilities. And I'll be the first to admit that. Being a woman in the field, I have yet to be on a site where the medic isn't the only other woman out there. Like, and I know there's tons of women out there. Where are you guys? Because I'm looking for friends. I need somebody else out there. It's just you very hit and miss. It's surprisingly the older men are not as judgmental as they say that they're going to be. The older men are usually the more accepting ones. It's the newer young bucks that are like, women in the field. Oh, what's that? And you're just like, I'll outwork you then. And that's when I just give her shit. I'm outworking that guy.
I love that. And hey, you know, when a woman comes on the site and I see a woman on site, you know, most of the time, like, fucking, she's here. She obviously, I haven't met too many that are like brand new, right? Or like they've been there for a while. So I know when I see a woman on site, like I know, like, okay, I have to like, I gotta work hard today, because like if I don't, she's gonna show me up, right? Like they work fucking hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I can't be dragging my feet today. You know,
No.
I'm gonna, and it's not just because she's a woman, right? I mean, like if I see anybody on site that's, you know, giving her, I can't drag my feet today, right?
Yeah.
Like, I strive to be the hardest working person on site, right? I know it's not always going to be the case, but in my mind, I got to be like, hey, I'm giving her today, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm the hardest working guy here. Yeah, I'm not being replaced. And I know there's probably guys out there working harder, but like I can't go on upstairs while I'm grinding away, right? Like I can't be like, okay, as long as I'm not the least hardest working person here, you know, the consultant can't be like, get the fuck off my site.
Exactly. You don't got to be the best, but you can't be the worst. And it's I don't want to say like, oh, I'm feminist or whatever. But anytime a woman shows up on the site, she naturally has to work 3 times harder just to get the same kind of respect from somebody. Otherwise, you're immediately put into the box of, oh, she's just here to meet her husband, or she's just here for this. Like, she's not there to actually work. And I don't know of any women in the field yet that are like that, but I guess that's the way it used to be, is that there were women out there and they weren't there for the right reasons. I myself am out there to work. I chose this job. I choose to be there every single day. I choose to show up. As much as sometimes you just don't want to do it, you still have to put in that extra little bit just to make sure, because there's always that one guy that's like, oh, the woman's going to outwork you. Yeah, I am actually. Watch this. And then I outwork him.
Let's see your nails. You got long nails?
I have dirty little nails.
Dirty little nails. So I don't know if you follow Mudsloot or not.
I do.
Mudsloot's amazing. I love.
How does she do it with those nails?
I don't know. I
am baffled.
I don't know. She says she does it quite easily. You know, I think she has to watch. You know, she's learned obviously how to maneuver around them. We love Mudsloot. My wife is a big Mudsloot fan.
I'm a huge fan of her.
Mudsloot is coming on the podcast, but my wife wants to be the co-host. So like, we were trying to make it work for all 3 of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mudsloot is. I love Mudsloot. She chef's kiss, you know. And she, like you said, right? She works her ass off, right? And I don't think it started off that way because she necessarily thought like, okay, I gotta do this to make it. She's like, I gotta do this to show those dudes over there that I can, right? And it shouldn't be that way, but you know what? And she made it work. And she makes dudes look like little babies all the time. So
Yeah, I have huge admiration for her because she shows up, she puts in the work, and shows that you don't have to look like a slug found on the ground to be able to work in the oil field. Like I started getting eyelashes because I was like, you know what, I can look pretty while I'm working. I may not be able to get nails because I personally can't do that. So that's why I have the admiration for her because I'm like, you can do what you do with those and still rock it. Like you're just
yep,
amazing.
yep.
Genuine person, I think.
Well, like you said with the eyelashes and shit like that, you work so many hours and you work away so much. Well, maybe you get to go home, but like a lot of people are stuck in camp yet, and they want to feel like human, right? At some point, and I'm there too. Like once in a while, I throw on a nice pair of blue jeans. I'll throw on a nice shirt. I'll throw my running shoes on, and I'll be like, "Oh man, you have no idea how amazing
Instead
that
of
feels
walking
just to
around in
throw
like
running
Crocs or
shoes."
slippers.
Yeah, my Crocs are everything, right? But like throwing them running shoes on instead of, Crocs or my work boots. Chef's
Hmm.
kiss.
Yeah, that's I remember that feeling. I used to walk through camp and I'd have always big sweaters and I work in shorts throughout the summer, so I wear just work shorts and always slippers or Crocs until the day that you get to leave or you're released. I throw on like cute pair of jeans, throw on a cute top. I was like, I'm driving
Yeah.
my way back home. I'm gonna feel
Yep.
good. And
Yep.
like people were surprised at what I was bringing to camp, but there's travel size bottles of like the good shampoos and the hair masks and stuff. So I'd still do the little pamperings while I was in camp because I was like, you know what, I don't want to feel disgusting. Like I don't want my hair to go raw because I'm not taking care of it for 24 days straight.
Yep.
So the
I do
pamperings
that.
were necessary.
I do that like probably a week before I go home. I throw my going home fit like out on the desk, and I'm like the countdown's on till I get to put this little guy on, right? And the day you get to go home and you get to put that outfit on, you're just like, yes, freedom,
Just
right? This
feeling
this
human again.
the it's the symbolism of what that outfit means, right? It's what it
Yeah.
symbolizes, and it's just like I'm going home, I'm gonna see the wife, I'm gonna see the kids, I'm gonna sleep, I'm gonna eat good food, right?
Good
And
homemade food.
yeah,
I That
well,
was the reason I preferred camps over hotel stays. Is the fact that you get cooks there. You don't have to go and eat out all of the time. And although the food might not be high quality, at least you know it's made fresh,
yeah,
fresher than what you could buy out. So I remember staying in a hotel for 2 weeks. I ate at Brown's Social House 2 weeks straight because there was nothing
gross,
else out there that I wanted to eat.
gross.
It was awful.
Ugh, I'm in a hotel right now. I prefer camp life for the same reason, cooks and stuff like that. But my wife, so I get to keep my LOA. My wife, she cooks me like sometimes up to 2 weeks worth of food at a time, and I pack it in the fridge or put ice in the cooler and leave it there. And when I run out, she will run me more. Or if I have like, if I'm a couple hours away, I'll run home and get more. Um, but for the last couple of years, that wasn't possible. I had an air fryer and I just cooked everything because I don't
Yes.
I don't like spending money out. And yeah, it's not only is it not healthy for you, but like it's expensive.
Yeah, you notice that most of your LOA at that point is going towards a
Yep.
majority of your food. I was going out and buying a coffee every single morning at Tim Hortons and a breakfast sandwich so that I could take that to go out. And that was like $7 every single morning.
Yep.
I was like, okay, well, there goes my LOA. Like I'm spending $7 and then I gotta get dinner tonight. That's gonna be like $60. There it goes. Like
So
there's
I was being a rebel, and we're in a hotel right now without breakfast, right? So they don't like us going after the morning meeting. They don't like us leaving and going into Tim Hortons and getting stuff. Like if you want that, you go beforehand and you grab anything you need, but don't go afterwards, right? That you're just
Mhm.
wasting people's time. So I'm being a rebel right now. I'm like, you put me in a hotel with no breakfast, right? I'm going after the meeting and I'm getting paid to do it because I'm spending money there. And I'm being real petty about it too, right? I
Yeah.
don't care who sees it. I'm like, yeah, man, I had to go to the bathroom. They made me buy something to use the bathroom. The nerve, right? And it's getting expensive, right? $10 every morning, whatever, for a wrap and a drink. And so my rebellion came to an end yesterday. I ran out of the money that I was willing to spend. I guess I had a bunch of cash. I had $100 worth of cash, and I ran out. And I went to the grocery store and I bought bagels and cream cheese. And so I make it every morning, before the safety meeting, and I'm eating it on my way there. And my rebellion came to an end. But like, I really wish it wouldn't have, but it was
Yeah.
too expensive, right?
Oh, it's really difficult. And like I have what I call my patch train stomach. I don't even eat breakfasts anymore. Coffee is it. Like I have oddly started the habit of eating like the little thing of Pringles for breakfast. 8 a.m. I'm crunching on some Pringles. There we go.
Yeah,
That's my
the little
breakfast.
container of Pringles, like the
Yeah.
little ones. Yeah, yeah.
It's like the one with like 10 Pringles in there.
I have to eat breakfast. That's like a non-negotiable thing for me, and I've always been that way. I get up and I have to eat, or my day goes to shit, right?
Mhm.
And so I've actually added some things to my diet over the last month. I bought those cases of Fairlife protein milks from Costco. It's like
Oh, yeah.
$40 for the pack. There's like 20 of them in there, and I bought that. So in that you're upping your protein, your magnesium, your zinc, your B12, and your potassium, I think, and a whole bunch of other shit. And
Yeah.
then I've got my wife to make me high protein meals and other things, and I've noticed a big difference. I've lost some weight and I feel good, and
Yeah.
building muscle, more muscle. So like, yeah, I have to eat in the morning, and then I have to have a snack around mid morning, and then I have to have lunch. Like I operate equipment, so or sometimes run whatever they need me to do. I do it. So I I eat at scheduled times, and if I don't eat at those times, I start getting real bitchy.
Yeah.
Right, I get
I feel
hangry.
sick.
Yeah, yeah, and then after lunch, like 2 hours later, I have to snack on something else, and then around 5 o'clock, I usually call it second sandwich. Right, I'm like, okay, second sandwich time. 11 o'clock, between 11 and 11:30 is my first sandwich. I got to eat my first sandwich, and then when I get back, no matter what time it is, when I get back, it's dinner time. I
I
gotta
love
eat my
it.
dinner, and then I gotta snack intermittently before bed, and I've always been that way. Or I get really grumpy. Yesterday, 2 days ago, so we were supposed to get off early. We were supposed to get off around like 11 or noon, and I banked on that. I should have known better, but I banked on it. I'm like, I'm not packing a lunch today, right? I ate my breakfast, and I didn't pack a lunch. And when we worked until 5.
Ooh.
And I'm angry at this point, right? My coworker can see it, like, you didn't eat your lunch today, did you? I'm like, no. She's like, here is a bunch of snacks. She
Yeah.
just throws me a bunch of things. And I'm like, thank you, right? And now I'm.
I
She
feel
wasn't.
normal,
Yeah,
you know?
she wasn't gonna eat it. Right? She was done, and she's like, hey, here, take it. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, thanks. That's my work
Yeah.
bestie.
Because I have the stepdaughter, we have the classic kid snacks around, and
Mm-hmm.
I will say they are more for me than for her at this point. Those little fruit gummies, the Welch's, have saved me several times. Like little extra sugar kicks when you need them. Like especially when it's working in heat. Like we have Kool-Aid jammers in the house. I love those. I
Oh yeah.
swear by them. If you are overheating, have a Kool-Aid jammer. They are the best.
What? How old is your stepdaughter?
She's 9.
9. My kids are 5 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I know exactly what you mean about the snacks, right?
Yeah.
Like whenever I'm at home and I'm hungry, it's like if I can't find anything that looks good enough for me, I know where all their snacks are. And
Yeah.
I'm just going. My daughters have got it in their head somehow. They get up at like 7 in the morning and they're just like, there's nothing for breakfast in this house. So they go in the fridge or the freezer and they grab a popsicle or a chocolate freezy popsicle thingamabobber, the Mickey Mouse ones, and they're like, breakfast time. And they start eating it, and it's like, bro, what are you doing?
Uh,
I'll make
If
you something.
yeah, if mine can't find anything, she goes for those squeezable applesauce things.
Oh
I
yeah.
find like 6 of them around the house everywhere. I'm like, how long have you been up? Half an hour? Like, I don't
My
know.
my youngest, yeah, my youngest daughter would we'd buy them, and same with those little Danone yogurts now.
Yeah,
She has one every morning, but when she's done that first one, I've learned I keep a second one out on the table so I don't have to get back up because I go way back down. I'm going to lay back down. You watch your TV, you do whatever, just leave me alone.
yeah,
Right, and she's like, Dad, I want another one. I used to have to get up and go get another one. Now it's like I put the give her the first one, I put the second one out, and I'm like, the other one's right here.
yeah,
You don't get another one. There's no third. This is
yeah,
the only one. So
yeah,
then I go back doing I do my thing, and a couple hours later I come out. She's drinking them both. All not a couple hours later, like an hour maybe if I'm laying there and the wife and I are like cuddling, right?
yeah,
I come out and yeah, she's drank both of them. So
yeah. I always say I'm that mom, and I set up the pantry with all those organizers that you would see on TikTok.
yeah,
I went and did that, and I know when she sneaks something because I count them. And I'll be like, why is there 6 missing of this? Go and check her room, and there they all are. And you're like, okay, well, you could have at least saved one of those little banana breads for me, just one. We got those celebration cookies, and we get the ones from Costco, so they're the mixed and match ones. So they have one that are filled with caramel in the inside, and then
yeah.
they have ones that are just the biscuit and the chocolate. And I have not had one of the ones with the caramels since we started buying them. She eats them, all of them. And now I can tell that they're all gone because all of the regular ones have not moved. So they're all still there. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just take your rejects then.
So I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I recently started seeing that you have more links.
I do. Yes.
Good for you. Um, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm okay talking about it. It's something I own, so
Fuck yeah. No, good for you. I don't know. You probably know who Emma Stone is, right?
yes. Yep.
Emma
I
Stone,
follow her as
good.
well.
Emma Stone's a good friend of mine. She's actually been on the podcast way back in the beginning. Um, Emma and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and what I love about Emma is that she is trying to normalize, humanize that side of things, right?
Hmm.
And she said something amazing that just like my wife was a co-host on that one because she loves Emma too,
Yeah.
and her thing was consent is sexy, and I get to choose who I work with. I get to choose when, where, how. You know what I mean? And that's amazing. And it's something that in the future it's gonna be more socially acceptable. It's already moving that way. It
Yeah.
is. It's already moving that way, and as it should, right? Because hey, life is expensive, and you're giving the people no choice but to come up with new and different ways to make money and survive. And this is just another one of those things. And it doesn't have to be distasteful. You know what I mean?
No. That was one thing I was kind of concerned about was because of the reputation that I have built up. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I have this following. Let's just kind of shoot the shot and see what happens. And so far, things have been going really well with it. I cannot complain.
That's
Anyway,
good.
um,
That's good.
but I've been getting both sides. So I've been getting people being like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like, I'm so glad that you did this." And then the other side is, "Oh, so you can't afford your patch life." Somebody even was like, "Can you imagine making 10 to 15 grand a month and then making the OF on top of that?" I was like, "When does water make 10 to 15 grand? Eh, Where is it? Sign me up." Like, I will go there because I don't make that. Even with my truck hired on now, I'm still only seeing, half that. So, which is not bad. I'm okay with it. But with it, we hit some slow periods there. We had the fires, we had the flooding, we had breakup. So all of these three things were back to back to back for us. And I was kind of hurting Albertan. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it and see what happens. And so far it's taken off and I don't see it going down in the future. I did take it down there because some of my coworkers decided to try leaking everything. And that was a no-go for me. So I shut her down and then I decided just to keep running with it. I was just like, you know what? It kind of is what it is. And I don't judge other people for doing it. I don't hate on them for it. If you can make enough for that to be your sole income, good on you. That is
Yep.
amazing because that means you get to have the comfort of your own schedule. You get to work from home. You get to go and spoil yourself and get paid for it. Like, what woman doesn't want that? I'm out here working
Hey,
like a dog.
if
I've
it
got it all
works for
wrong.
you, if it works for you, that's all that matters, right? And
Exactly.
you're the only person that you need to answer to,
Exactly.
right? And that is a lesson, like that is a hard lesson that a lot of people need to learn, is like your opinion of that person does not matter,
Yeah.
right? um so that's a part of another conversation though, right? Like
Yeah.
that comes back to the comments section of the videos, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so like we'll move into that, but like it's working out well for you, it's great, it's everything's hunky-dory, it's good.
Yep.
Are you well on your way to becoming a top 1%er yet?
I'm 1.6.
1 point, shut up already.
I am. Yep.
Wow.
1.6.
Emma Stone was a 0.8%er there a couple months ago.
That, oh, yeah, I can believe that. I
Emma,
kind of had my eye on her. It was like, you know what? She does really good at this, so I need to see what's up.
she's been at it for a long time now, right?
Yeah.
And she's learning what works for her. And I don't know if you've ever listened to Emma's story and why she got into it, but she wanted to buy a house. Her and her boyfriend or her husband, they split up and they had to live together because they couldn't afford to live apart.
Yeah.
So, she's doing her thing there, and then she's going into OF, and things are working out for her. She doesn't always have to go and do the medic thing, right?
Yeah.
If she doesn't feel like doing it, she doesn't have to do it. And that's huge, right? That's amazing.
What I admire about her is that she owns it. You know, she gets,
Yep.
I see the hate comments, but she addresses them in a humorous manner, which I laugh and appreciate that she's confident in it. And I was like, you know what? I think that's the note that I need to take is, like I said, just to own it. You know, it's there, it exists. People can see it anytime they want. So may as well make the best out of it and just keep rolling with it. And the fact that it grew as much as it did, as quickly as it did, was astonishing. I still can't wrap my brain around the fact that it's 1.6%. Like, I think I've had it for less than 2 months now, which is
Nice.
absurd. I was like, you
Hey.
can make this much?
Fuck it, whatever, hey? Like,
Yeah.
Are you guys married, you and your boyfriend or husband?
No, we've been together for almost a year now. Our 1 year mark is coming up in a couple weeks.
Nice. Well, congratulations on the 1 year
Thank you.
mark. That's huge.
Yeah.
Is he a part of your OF, or like?
No, he has nothing to do with it. He just
Does he-
basically sees the statements when I put them into our account. I'm like, here's another.
And
And
he's like, fucking, you do you, babe. He was probably all like, oh god, probably sitting on the fence about it at first, but now he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
you
basically.
go, little rock star.
Yeah, I told him, and he was kind of like, well, you know, you have my approval. Like, I'm not gonna hate on you for it. And then, yeah, a couple of the payments came in, and he was like, keep her going. Like, keep her rolling, whatever you're doing. So I was
That's
like,
huge. That's
sweet.
huge.
But our condition is he knows nothing. He's just blind. He just sees the money come in. That's it.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't work with others, then it's just you.
Just me. Yeah.
There you
I
go.
have a friend that we do like photo shoots with, but that's basically it. It's nothing like super provocative or anything like that. We just get together and we collab, and it's for me to help boost hers as well. So
people supporting people, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, I shared
love
her on
that.
my story on Instagram, and I watched her following go up like 300 people. It was
Wow.
insane. Yeah. And I look
love
back and
doing
I'm
that.
like,
I love doing that for
Yeah.
other creators. You know what I mean? Because I've managed to grow decently on Instagram, and so like anyone that I know from TikTok, if they're really big on TikTok but they're like not so much on Instagram, whenever they post anything, I'll try to share it to my story. I'll be like, hey, go check this out, right?
yeah,
And I'm trying to do that more. I'm trying to share less of my own videos to my story and trying to share other people's videos to my story, and then my videos to my reels and on Facebook. Because so I've noticed when I share them to my story on Facebook, or on Instagram, sorry, they pop up on Facebook. And I'm monetized on Facebook. So if I share a reel on Facebook that I've just shared a story of there, people are gonna watch it for free over there, and it doesn't have the same effect
Yeah.
on. I'm learning it as I go, right? My
Yeah.
wife actually pointed it out to me. So
Social media is a tricky one. I
yeah,
feel like it took forever to figure out TikTok and how to move with the waves. A lot of my videos are like the trending ones because I'm like, okay, well that's gonna boost it here, that's gonna boost it there a little bit. And that Drink Hard, Work Hard page on Instagram there
I
shared a
saw.
couple of my videos. You were the one who
Yeah,
pointed it out to me.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, I didn't know that was there. And ever since then my Instagram following has just gone up. Like I think I'm close to or 2750 I think on there. And I was a small like 400 when I first got things shared out. So the fact that I was able to share somebody else's page and it grew that much, I didn't know that that was the effect that it was going to have. And sometimes I can't wrap my brain around social media in general. I'm just like, I don't know how any of this works. I'm just kind of doing my thing here. Um, Sometimes think about just going back to having fun with TikTok, not really worrying about followers or likes or anything, but you get wrapped up in that really quick. You're just like, man, this one to
Yeah.
get a lot of likes.
Yeah, it
So,
happens real quick, and you gotta just learn to ignore if you have a week of really shitty views. You gotta
mhm,
ignore that. You gotta ignore that. If you don't have a lot of engagement, you just gotta ignore it. Post it for you. You started doing it for you. That's what I started
yeah,
doing it for. I started doing it because I was having a hard time. I was working a lot, and I was like really down in the dumps about it, and I didn't know what to do. So I started making videos to make myself smile and laugh, and just make fun of the situations I found myself in and things I've heard on sites. And so I started doing it for me, right? And then I started getting messages from people being like, "Hey, thanks for making me feel better. Thanks for giving the guys something to laugh at while we're away from home. You made -40 bearable the other day because we all sat around in the doghouse chuckling at your video." And I've had
yeah,
guys come down while I'm on a site, and Buddy's like, "Hey, Dick." I'm like, "Hey," and he's like, shook my hand. He's like, "Just want to say thanks for what you do for us guys in the patch." I'm like, "Man, that's huge, man. You know what I mean? I did it for myself for that,
yeah,
you know." And then we talk mental health a lot. Mental health in the industry is huge, right? A lot of
mhm.
people come into the industry, and I say this a lot. A lot of people come into the industry thinking it's this kind of toughness. It's right here,
It is all
right?
mental. You can have
Yeah.
all the physical strength in the world, but if your mental isn't there, you're not gonna last. And it sounds weird, but it I've broken down a few times. Especially for what I do. Water ops when we are in and going, fracking and stuff, we get a lot of ass time. A
Yep.
lot. Like most of our shift is sitting. And when you're on night shift or something, that 3 a.m. hits and you're just wrapped in your thoughts. And sometimes it breaks you a little bit. You're like, man, I would die to be home right now. I'd love to be with my family. And you just want to cuddle with your dogs and you're out there working while everybody else is living a normal life. It really gets to you. So if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
have that mental toughness, like you're really not going to make it.
I used to work at Frack Shack, so you know all about Frack Shack from sitting on the
Yeah.
frack pad. Nap Shack is what we called it, and I used to sit in that thing, and I'd be like, "Fuck, how do you guys not sleep in here, right?" And so I'd walk in, and day shift or night shift would have a zero gravity chair there, and I'd be like, "Are you kidding me? Like I'm trying to stay awake, and you're leaving this here." Man, we're in for a good time tonight, eh? So
Yeah.
I'd sit in it and I'd be like, "Okay, I'm not going back. I'm not gonna go back." 10 minutes later, I put it back just a little bit. I'm not going any further back than that. 10 hours in, and I'm like fully back, just sleeping. I had one of the back haulers come in one night, and he's like, "Man, I had to go." Actually, he came up to talk to me, but I was sleeping, and so he left. And I went out later on, and I saw him, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, man." He's like, I said to him, I'm like, "Oh, you should come visit me sometime. Come hang out." I'm like, I hear everything on that catwalk. When you walk up, I wake up before you even get to the door. I know you're there." And he's like, "Really?" And he showed me the video he took of it. He's like, "I walked in, and dude, you didn't hear a word." And that was concerning because the consultants could walk in at any time,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, I've fallen asleep a couple times, so it hasn't been good. Always around 3 a.m. too.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's usually that right before our shift ends. That's
Yep.
when it hits me. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm staying awake. And there was a story from one of the guys that I was working with. I don't know what company or what or anything. He was telling me though he walked up to a truck one time and this guy's wearing this virtual reality mask and he's in there and he's fighting away and I'm laughing because he was watching something that he was had to actively be watching, but he's playing on virtual reality. He's like, well, there's nothing going on right now. So he's fighting something. And I was like, you know what? That is the best. I just, if that doesn't sum up water in a nutshell, I don't know what does. We got to try and you can catch me on the side of the road curling clamps just to try and stay awake. Like, I'm like, I may as well get ripped while I'm here.
Yeah, if I had TikTok when I was working at Frack Shack, the amount of videos I would have made would have been insane,
Yeah.
right? I probably would have made 10 a day, right? It would have been
Yeah.
insane, right? Yeah, no, that would have been fuck. Now I'm kind of wanting to go back. I wonder if they're hiring.
Yeah. Yeah. My
No,
drafts fill up real quick when I'm on shift. I have like 30 sitting in there. I'm like, okay, well, it's 10 a.m. Let's post this one. Okay, that seems good. And yeah, it's just, you have nothing to do but sit there and think of sounds and videos.
at the beginning, I had a lot of drafts. I'd have a lot, but as you know, time goes on, and you've made so many videos and you put up so many ideas, you're just like, yeah, I gotta throw this draft out. Gotta throw this draft. I haven't made a
Yeah.
video today. Gotta throw this draft out. I have no drafts anymore, but I
Yeah.
do have like over 1,000 sounds saved. I have over 1,000 videos saved for ideas. Like even if it's not my niche, I hear the sound. I'm like, I can turn that into my niche somehow.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit on it and I'm gonna listen to it 30,000 times back to back to back to back until it hits me. And it drives my wife nuts when I do it when I'm at home. She's like, I don't want to hear the same sound over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's the same with my man. He was like, I
What?
hate when you edit videos at home. Because especially when you're trying to get the timing right and you're trying to
Yep.
think of a good caption and it's just not coming to you for something and you're just listening to the same sound over and over again. I feel bad. And it's like,
I
you know
turn
when I'm editing, but
I turn the volume down now. When
I mute it. I turn it
Yeah.
down as low as I
Yeah.
possibly can. If
Yeah.
anything, I should start throwing headphones in really because these poor
Yep.
people around me are like, if I have to listen to that sound one more time, I'm like, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't even get paid for it.
Yeah. What? Just in case anyone has tuned out by now, people's attention spans are gone. Where can people find you on the socials?
So I'm on TikTok and Instagram, and it is both the same handle. It's Patch Trash Girl,
Okay.
and that is it. I don't have my Facebook open, and if anybody else finds my other Instagram, it's private. Don't follow that one if you're wanting to follow my main content. You know, that one's not for those to hate on me. If you want to hate on me, Patch Trash Girl. That's it.
Where can they find you on the only one, the secret lock one?
That one is on my main Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to find that one, you go to my main Instagram. Because TikTok doesn't allow that link to exist there. So
No,
I
it
have
doesn't.
I have my Instagram linked off of my TikTok, and then off of my Instagram is that link.
It's only been about a year since you've been able to talk about it without them banning you. I remember, Emma never used to be able to talk about it even.
Yeah.
And then one day I was just fucking around and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. And then this is how Emma and I came to. I already, followed Emma, and I don't think she followed me yet, but someone made a video about, sneaky links and stuff like that, or the link. And then I'm like, whoa. I didn't know Emma Stone was here, right? And like OnlyFans superstar or whatever. And then it went and it stayed and it was fun. I didn't get banned for it or anything. I was just like, damn. And then people were saying it more. You could talk about it. You could show the logo. You just can't put the link, right?
Yeah.
And I think TikTok's moved to like more 18 plus or something like that over the last year too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I still try not to risk it, so I always put the 0 with the capital F whenever, or like the little hot face with the link.
Yeah.
Those are what I try, and I don't want to risk getting banned. It would just take way too long to try and build that stuff back up.
Oh, it's a lot of work. Have you seen my merch line though with the Only Frost?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
Do you know who Double D is, or Tyrell? I
No.
think he mainly goes over on TikTok now as Tyrell. It was his idea. He calls me up. I was a week away from having my merch line drop, and he calls me. He's like, "Man, I got a perfect idea for you. Only Frost." And I'm like, "Okay." So I ran it by my wife. She said, "Cool." She ran up a mock picture. I
Yeah.
put it on the socials, and we sold 20 of them almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that's sick.
I remember seeing that and thinking like, I need that as a sticker for my hard hat. I need
got
it
lots.
on there.
I got lots.
I need one. 10 out of 10, right?
I can
Along
hook
with
you up.
husband.
I got Camp 10. I got Only Frost, the Dick Frost one. Oh shit, the little blue logo that my display picture is on TikTok.
Yeah.
I got that. Oh man. Yeah,
I need it all.
I give them all. I just give them all away. Don't tell my wife. I just give them all away. She's like, they're on the website. They're $1 a piece, but like I carry handfuls of them. And whenever I see anyone, I'm like, sticker.
You get a sticker, and you get a sticker.
Exactly. Well, it's a write-off now, right? It's a write-off.
Yeah.
You turn it into a small business, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
Right? So, but maybe I should like turn a little profit. I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody was laughing because they saw my fingers one, and I had 2 other ones made up in that one, and somebody was saying like, you need to be selling those. And I was like, you know what, I would, but that's a lot of work. You're like, okay, $1.50, please. I'd rather just go hand them out.
I got a question for you, and this, I just thought of this as we were talking, right? Like I said, fly by the seat of my pants. You're a woman in the oil field, right?
Yeah. And
you've been in it for a year. What advice do you have for other women that want to get in and don't know where to start, and maybe they're 15 right now, and they're like looking forward to the next 3 years when they can get in when they turn 18? What advice do you have for the younger women coming up?
So my biggest piece of advice is don't wait or expect a company to pay for your standard tickets. So the basic ones that you need, the H2S, the CSO, the first aid. I went out and I bought those myself, and I put myself into those courses. It showed initiative enough to be able for somebody to be like, hey, she already has her tickets. And the second one is, if you find one specific company that you're looking for and you're like, hey, I want to do this, apply for every single position that company has. And if they're still not getting back to you, walk in through those doors. Just truck on through, because they need to see your face to show like that's what you are all about. And I got super lucky. Somehow I have always known somebody to always kind of nudge the door open a little bit. So knowing people on the inside, never a bad thing. You can use those. And the other thing is,
especially in this economy, right?
Yes.
Don't be afraid to call in your contacts.
Yes, exactly. Call for help. You need it. And that was all that I did. I managed to hit it at a super good time. Like, everybody was hiring anybody. I had previous experience of, carpentry and landscaping. Those were my only like real general labor jobs. And I still managed to get into the oil field, but it was finding out where to start. And that's how I ended up starting with line locating, because that was my basic. I was like, okay, I'll start doing this. And it wasn't oil field enough for my oil field. And even still, water's not that big for oil field.
You're right there. You're there.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm more oil field than other people think. They see water. They mostly see us in operations. We're sitting in our trucks. Not a whole lot of people get to see the rig-in operations, which is the big part of our job. We work really hard for week to 2 weeks to be able to sit for those 3 weeks. And then the rig out happens.
Yep.
So I would say, if anybody's like, if you don't want to be a medic and you're a woman, I recommend water transfer. Honestly, I love it. It's fun. It's not that heavy. Like, if you're like, I can't really lift that much, water's not that bad. You get to sit and watch movies.
I heard a guy in the safety meeting one day. They were going around talking to everyone, doing their thing about, hey, what's your biggest hazard tonight, guys? Yada yada yada. And a water transfer guy spoke up. He's like, eye strain. Right? As oh shit, dude. Like, yeah. What he said. I'm watching a movie tonight. Oh, that could be eye strain.
It's true. I love it. I love my job though.
I watched 4 seasons of The 100 in a week.
I watched all. What is it? there's 6 or 7 of the Harry Potter movies. I watched all of
Yeah.
those in 3 days.
There's 7, but the last one split into 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched all
Ooh.
of them, start to finish, in 3 days. They had a whole lot going on.
Man. Yeah. We were parked right beside the data van, and we were picking up on their Wi-Fi. My coworker knew the Wi-Fi passwords, so I got it. I watched 4 seasons. I went home on days off. I come back, the data van had moved.
Oh.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I would take the truck, I'd drive over, park beside the data van, download a bunch of shit, drive back, watch whatever I had to do. I do that a couple times this shift. It was great.
Yeah. I've only been fortunate to have Wi-Fi on lease once, which was perfect because I had next to no cell service, so I had no data. And the fact that I was able to get on the Wi-Fi was awesome because I was like, Disney Plus.
What up?
Yeah. Definitely streamed a lot of movies.
I have a question. Do you know what viscosity is?
What is?
Viscosity.
Viscosity?
Viscosity. It's
not a clue.
Thickness or density of liquid.
Oh, okay.
And where I'm going with this is the podcast is sponsored.
So, there you go.
So by the Mudman, and so www.mudmanmarket.com for all your drilling fluids and laboratory testing equipment needs. Get on the Mudman. Go to www.mudmanmarket.com, and he's got a whole shabam full of cool shit there to help you out with your viscous tools.
There you go.
Yeah. No, hey, I had to throw that in there. The Mudman is a seriously cool dude, and he sponsors the podcast. If it wasn't for him, there'd be none of this. Yeah, it would still be having technical difficulties, audio issues galore. So thanks to the Mudman.
Awesome. Shout out to that.
Shout out to the Mudman. So, I guess anything that you want to add, anything you want to talk about before I dive into the last part?
None that I can think of. I'm water. There's not a whole lot functioning up there.
Hey, she's brain dead. She's got water on the brain.
Yeah, water 24/7.
What's your boyfriend do?
Funny enough, he's my dispatch guy.
Shut up.
Yep. He's the one who's like, hey, you're going out.
You have so much content right there alone. You could make so much.
If you ever watch any of my videos about my shots at my dispatch guy, yeah. Go back and scroll and find them. They're freaking funny now that you know the secret behind them.
That makes it even funnier. I love dispatch. I wouldn't want that job. It's a thankless job. You got to deal with so many people.
Living with somebody who is dispatch guy is this company that we are with now. He was with a different company when we very first met. That company called him all hours of the night. Like it didn't, and from the same crew. You're like, do you guys not talk? So there'd be like 3 or 4 phone calls coming in. One's at 2 a.m., one's at 2:30, one's at 2:45. I'm like, can they just not talk? And I was like, you gotta stop. With water, at least, they at least ask, oh, is he awake yet? Can I call? I'm just like, I much appreciate this.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, dispatch is a hard job. Now that I've seen it from a different perspective, I have a lot more respect for dispatch guys because there's a lot of moving pieces that sometimes don't fit well together and you just miss something and they get a lot of shit that isn't on them. So I say have more respect for your dispatch guys. They go through a lot more than you think.
Amen to that. I love my dispatchers. 2 of the strongest women probably ever. You could just see it on their face how exhausted they are at times, and you just feel sorry for them, and you just you don't want to tell them no. You don't want to give them a hard time when they ask you to do something. Hey, you got it. One of them is a new mom, and her daughter wouldn't sleep for the longest time, and it was like, so when she did get to sleep, the phone would ring, and then say,
bring her all the coffee. Just keep walking in with the coffees.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Yeah, we have 2 dispatch guys, and I was on my days off and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll bring him some lunch, and decided to pick up the other one, a burger, and just treat him nice, They'll treat you nice back. A little bit of
Absolutely.
bribery.
Absolutely. So last question, I guess, and it's a big one, and it usually stumps a lot of people. We like to end the show on that, and Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people in American history on it, possibly even North American history on it, right? If you had a Mount Rushmore, who would you put on it? 4 people that have influenced you or you look up to the most, and why?
Oh, 4 people influenced me the most. As corny as it's going to sound, I'm going to say my mother is one. Because
Whatever.
how can you not? My mom is truly amazing. She's my heart and my whole soul. Like, she's done a lot and she's always been there. And I would say probably my man next to that, because he never hates on me for anything. He never says no. It's never a flat no. It's a we'll talk about it and we'll see each other's point of views. And just constant support for everything, especially being a woman in an oil field. He never says, oh, just quit, like it's too hard. He's like, no, you got this, like go show those guys up. Influential people, I'm trying to think of like outside of my bubble, but there's funny enough, Kennedy, Torque Girl.
Love her. She was on the podcast.
Yeah, she's amazing. I had, like, I'd say a woman crush on her. Like, she just freaking rocks it. And she is so inspiring to see because she balances the fitness, she balances the oil field. I see her eating, and teach me your ways, please, because I need to learn how to eat better while still working these hours. So I would say she is definitely a really big one that I would put up there, because I'm just like, I put you on a pedestal. I hope you know that. I remember she followed me back and I fangirled so hard. I was like, ah. And then another person. I need one more. And it sucks because I feel like there's just so many more people that I would. Because I'm just like, my whole life is just huge inspiring people, because I don't like filling my life with negativity. There's no need for that.
Not at all.
I'd say probably then my younger sister. So I recently watched her get married to her significant other of 8 years. Emphasis on she's younger. She's 2 years younger. Been with this guy for 8 years. High school sweethearts. And she's just been the one that's always had her life together. She's the one that I call when I have the crisis of something, and she's just like, get over it, calm down, and just lets me have my moment of I'm complete chaos. And she's just like zen. And just always known what she's wanted in life. And I've just always kind of had that little bit of envy, because I'm like, I'm a little lost, but she just kind of pushes me back into the pond. She's like, there you are, little duckling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing people's stories, like why they look up to these people and who they look up to.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to know how to eat better,
yes,
talk to Kennedy. But also this week's podcast that just came out. You probably don't listen to the podcast. It doesn't matter. This week's podcast that just came out is Maddie Feeds People. I don't know if you've ever seen his TikToks.
I actually saw that one. I popped up on my For You page and I made a mental note to be like, I need this one.
Maddie's the man. Maddie's had me eating healthier. That's actually why I've been eating a lot of protein and changing up. Eat your colors is what he always says in his videos. Eat your colors. Your woman will thank you. You don't want her eating that battery acid or swallowing that battery acid, right? It's got to taste good. Yeah, and yeah. So Maddie's the man when it comes to that.
Yeah,
so if you
definitely need to get in touch with this.
Yeah, and Torque Girl, she's been on the podcast. We love Kennedy. We're huge.
That one appeared on my For You page too. So there's more to check out. You've had a lot of people on here. I'm like, man, I need to get more into this. So catch me listening to the podcast when I'm on shift now.
Yeah, like I said, that's the whole reason I do it, right? Is you only see little tiny clips into the content creators' lives. We're people that everybody follow, well, not everybody, but we're people that a lot of people follow and see on the internet quite often. And, it's like when I was a kid, there was Vine and you saw other creators, and you're just like, I wonder what that person's like. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that person makes me laugh. I wonder what makes that person tick, right? So the podcast is sort of for that. I interact with a lot of cool people, and I also want to know what they're like, right? I also want to know, hey, what made you want to do this? What,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I had a lot of really cool conversations.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I've just seen a whole bunch of cool people, and I was like, you know what? There's got to be more to the story. So I appreciate the podcast because then it does get into behind the scenes.
Exactly. And on my main account, I don't know if you've ever seen. On my main account, I have On the Throne with Dick, and it's where I actually sit on the toilet and I interview other creators, but I only have a minute. So
Oh, okay.
I'm like, so what makes you shit? Well, how do you stand or sit to wipe? And then maybe if we have time for one other question, it's usually something maybe serious, but like it's just supposed to be funny. And it started on site because I was on a frack and I was like, I gotta poop. So I went over and I did my thing and I took my phone with me. I'm like, there's gotta be content in here, right? And then I'm like, wait, I can do something where I'm doing something on the shitter. I'm like, on the shitter, on the throne with Dick, yes. And then I just put the camera up and I did it. And I think there's like 30 episodes or something like that on my main account, and I haven't done one in months. I'm mainly just sticking to this On the Throne now, but yeah, it's a good time.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. I've told this story numerous times. I started the TikTok when I was in a dark place and not knowing where I wanted to go, and I didn't feel like the oil field could offer me anything anymore. I was falling out of love with the industry, and I started making TikToks to make myself feel better, and then the industry sort of came to me. We went to each other.
Yeah.
And it was, at first it was just the Alberta industry. Then it became the worldwide industry. And when you got the whole worldwide oil and gas industry, big industry, small community, right? And when you got everyone together like that, and you're sharing each other's struggles and your triumphs, and you realize you're all in it together.
Yeah.
I fell back in love with the industry. This is where I need to be. This is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to be. So, yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's good. I think it should be more fun.
Absolutely. It should be. We're shining a bright light onto an industry that's looked at as dark and really, for the most part, unknown. No one knows what the hell we do, right? The outside world sees, oh, that's a scar and a stain. Yuck, right? And they must get treated like shit and they must have a bad time. Well, you know what? Maybe we do
addictions
have
as well.
some of that. Well, yeah, we've talked about that a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna happen no matter where you are.
Yeah, but that's the rap. I think most people assume that you're just naturally gonna fall into that place if you go into that, and it's like you can literally do it and still be active, clean, healthy, and you don't have to live off of energy drinks. You can live off of water and Gatorade. You don't have to go to that if that's not what you want. Like, you just got to stay true to yourself and you got to stay strong. And I think that's more important than trying to follow the tide.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. That's huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
I've never had an energy drink, and I don't really drink coffee, right? I raw dog the shit out of my day. And that, I think sometimes that just makes me feel even more like, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes me feel like, if I could survive these conditions just purely off my own body strength and whatnot and my own willpower, I mean, hey, we've done it, right?
Yeah. I fell into the energy drinks thing pretty hard when I first came in, but I've learned that battery acid is real feeling. Like, you just feel like so, we've cut that out. The last time I actually had one was the monster shotgun challenge that I did. I haven't had one since. So it's been like 3 months, 4 months, I think.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Was
before that, I
hard-
actually had gone
hard to
with
come
like, yeah, I went without like 7 months before that. So
Oh wow.
yeah, the
Wow,
fact
good
that
for
I
you.
and people are like, oh, getting off the energy drinks. I was like, they're a real thing.
That's awesome. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more women on the podcast. Right. I realize I asked at a really bad time because a lot of the women are in their hot girl summer mode. Right. They're all like, hey, I don't want to be there, but I'm at the beach right now. Or like, they're busy with work. I get that too. But like, I want more women. We've had like 30 episodes and only 6 women. So it's been a total sausage fest in here.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm focused on making all of August's episodes just blue collar women or
Yeah.
women in general. Doesn't have to be blue collar. And you'd be number 1. So hey, what up?
I feel special.
Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I want more women on my podcast because you guys are badass and you guys bring it. You bring 100% of what you got all the time.
Yeah, I think it brings up an overall better energy in general because if some guys feel that a woman's outworking them, they're going to work a lot harder.
That's right.
I think it just brings up the energy of the group collectively.
Shout out toxic masculinity.
Yes. I love it.
All right. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And you have an amazing night. And hey, stay frosty. That's so cheesy, but I love saying it.
I love it.